Excited about this first show with Story and Sons. Ollie, welcome. Are you well?
Good, thank you.
Good,
Thanks
thank you.
for
Found
having
your way
us.
here nicely?
Just about,
I
yeah.
know, we like to keep it a mystery sometimes. This is a really poignant show. I know a lot of people are thinking towards Christmas necessarily, but what your products that you bring us can help people every single day. That's fair to say, right?
hmm
So what is your range? Who are we talking to today?
Okay, so Story and Sons sells products for people living with disability. That could be people living with dementia, visual impairment, could be a mobility issue. We try and cater for absolutely anybody, and some of our products might be relevant for people who maybe not living with a disability, maybe people kind of later life.
Yeah. So I guess right now I know like December, and so maybe you're thinking about gifting for people, but actually this kind of thing can really help people throughout the whole year. I know obviously certain age groups are maybe more applicable, but actually it could be anyone because these things do affect all sorts of different people. So we're going to go through all the products right now. It's very, very easy to shop on Shop Unlimited Live. The details are on the top of the screen after all. You just type in I don't know if you've ever been on this show before, have you, Ollie, or similar?
No.
So it's very different. It's very different. So of course you can go on the website, shopunlimitedlive.com. Of course you can go straight to Story and Sons and see what they've got as well. I encourage you to do so. But here we've got special pricing for this month and the build up to Christmas. So above us on the screen, you'll see shop and then a keyword. For example, right now it's shop cat. If you wish to purchase, I'll just put the hug down. Special savings for this show at all for you to shop cat in the comments, and that's all you need to do. We will then send you a comment into your direct messages, into your messenger, and that's how you do it. You can still spread the cost as well, Ollie. You can just hear the cat purring. I hope you can. So via Klarna, you can shop interest free as well if you wish. Shop cat, and this is what we first talked about, right? This is sort of thing that the product has been taking the UK and beyond by storm. So a little introduction to the cat, please, to Marmalade.
Yeah, so this is Marmalade the cat. He or she is a robotic cat. Rechargeable batteries, suitable for people living with dementia or people who can no longer look after cats and other animals. Doesn't need food or water.
That works, yep. So it's really reactive. So I
Yeah.
guess maybe I'm wrong, but like if the more attention I pay Marmalade, then she'll react to me like I hear her purring, for example.
Yeah.
But even so, she'll still sort of move and wag her tail or make noises independently of me.
Yeah. Yeah. So they'll react to their surroundings, and every now and again she'll make a little move or wag her tail, then go to sleep after a certain amount of time to conserve battery life.
Much like me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Now, I know so many of you, like our producer Katie was saying, her nan has one, which is Brenda. Hello, Brenda. If you're watching, maybe you are. I don't know if you've got Facebook or not.
Brenda.
Hi, Brenda. But I think it's the whole tactile nature of, as well as moving, is it companionship?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the main selling point for these. Say if you can't visit your grandparent as often as you'd like to, and maybe you don't live nearby, or just an elderly relative that doesn't have the companionship of a cat or a dog, then these are perfect gift.
You've got an extra £10 saving after all. So if you haven't got one yet, or you've heard about them and you want the most affordable price possible, shop Cat. We will come back. There's a lot more to talk about, I know. But that is Shop Cat, first of all, £190. But of course, you can divide the cost. Speaking of P&P as well, it's $3.99 per order. So the more things that go in that one transaction, it'll still only be $3.99. That is website wide, by the way. So that is Shop Cat. We're now going to move on to Shop Hug, which is, I guess, a similar story, but a different. It's the biggest saving on the show as well. So please introduce us to Hug, Ollie.
So this is the Hug by Laugh, designed by partly designed by Alzheimer's Society. Supported by Alzheimer's Society. The Hug by Laugh are a business that is part of Cardiff Met University.
Okay.
So there's a lot of research gone into the design of the hug, and you can feel the beans inside the hands there.
Yeah, you can probably hear him on the microphone a little bit. It's like
weighted arms and legs. So if you give him a hug, then
I will
hug you back with his weighted arms.
I'm very aware of my microphone as well. It's incredibly soft. I like this. I like the size of. I was supposed to say him, her. Maybe it's him. The size as well feels like it'd be hugging me back.
Yeah, and you should be able to feel a heartbeat in there as well.
I don't know if we've turned it on.
I think
think
we
you have?
have. Yeah,
We'll come back to it, absolutely.
there's a little box inside that has a heartbeat built in that can also play music.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Are you feeling the
Yeah,
heartbeat?
yeah, yeah. It's subtle, but they are
Yeah,
heartbeats, aren't they?
yeah.
Wow.
A
So
lot of people have a moment when they first feel it.
if you really concentrate on it, you can often you can feel it even more, like when you're touching your own heart. But so, what is the purpose of that? Is that to feel a connection, to not like to help with loneliness? Does that?
N- Not a connection, yes. Not specifically loneliness.
Yeah.
We've heard some amazing stories of people living with later stage dementia in care homes who maybe they've not communicated. Um, Often in a care setting, people don't get that kind of that the touch isn't necessarily a hugging touch. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of quite functional for
Yeah.
cleaning, kind of moving from different areas, and they just don't get that quite often that connection with people. So we've had instances where people haven't spoken, for instance, for months, and after hugging the hug, they start to communicate again.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes with just with the hug, talking to it in that kind of caring way, or sometimes it can help with going into group settings, feeling kind of
Like a
a bit more
safety
secure.
blanket
Yeah,
almost. Does that make sense? Yeah.
yeah,
It feels like, especially with the weighted side of things, as mentioned, blankets there. Hello, cat. We'll come back to you. Don't worry. I love how the cats is still just doing its own thing. A bit like a weighted blanket in bed. There's a bit of security around that, right? So I feel like well, like with the hands being a bit heavier than the arms. So
yeah,
it feels like that security is the best word I can think of actually for that connection.
yeah. And often, I mean, care home setting, people with later stage dementia or other similar cognitive issues, perfect, and it's machine washable. That's a big selling point for a care setting, but also it's really applicable for people living with anxiety,
Hmm.
um, for children with complex needs. We've had instances where even in ladies' prisons where people are engaging with group work more if they can bring the hug because they have that kind of that like say safety blanket.
It's so poignant. It could be the most life-changing thing. I think that's an
Yeah.
exaggeration to say for someone. Maybe it's yourself, maybe it's somebody you know, maybe it's a relative. It's Shop Hug. So to get the best price we possibly could, it is a £50 saving. So thank you so much for Ollie for that. We'll come back to it again, but just type in Shop Hug, whether you're watching on Instagram, maybe you're watching on Facebook, whether it's through Story and Sons, whether it's through Shop Unlimited Live or other mediums as well. It's something I hadn't heard of before. I was aware of the cats, so I've seen them around on all sorts of
Mm.
different platforms as well, but I wasn't aware of the hug, and it's so poignant that it's available for you right now, and you can still spread the price through Klarna interest free if that's what you choose to do. We will come back to hug on the pop hug. It's a shame to pop him down, but I will. I love the legs as well. Pop him down there for a second because then we've also got something you mentioned functionality actually, and we've got the grabber, which is £10. Shop Grab, which is I mean fairly self-explanatory, I guess, but could be something that's extremely useful.
Yeah, it's got a magnet on the end as well. If you drop your keys or
Oh, okay.
anything magnetic, um, it's foldable. Uh, the if you need to kind of store it or take it away in a bag, do you want me to
Go for it,
show?
absolutely.
So you just it just pulls apart in the middle. So if you need to take that on holiday in a suitcase
Yeah,
or
yeah.
what have you, um,
Feel like a bit like a tent pole that reminds me of.
yeah. Obviously the magnet on the end is very useful for picking stuff up.
Isn't that fab? So yeah, it's like for dropping keys. I know, for example, um, I used to do also, and a lot of you watching would be crafters at home. We used to do lots of shows with crafters, even just dropping bits and bobs like feet on sewing machines, or there's a, I mean, I don't know if you know if that's on the floor is metal. There we go. I don't know if you just spied that right on the end there, but there's we like to keep pins around, Ollie, just in case I need a pin. But there you go. So maybe it's your feet on your sewing machine, maybe it's needles, maybe it's pins, maybe it's crochet, anything like that at all. But just spying that there, and it was really quick, like strong magnet.
Yeah.
There we go. That's a
Keys are quite heavy, aren't they? A box of
yeah, they are
keys.
exactly. That is a ad lib demonstration. I'll put that down there for later. £10. Even if you are super able-bodied, even just for, or it's just an age thing or an ailment thing or an injury thing, right? For keys or in the garden, picking up litter, for example.
Could be after an operation as well. Could be temporary.
Yep, very, very good point. £10. You've got a third off. Again, it is Shop Grab, GRAB. Just type in Shop Grab. We will then put that into your basket, build the basket for you, and then there's a little button underneath saying check out your cart. You click yes, and it's being delivered to you ASAP. That is Shop Grab. Can we talk Shop Clock, which is just next to you? £20 saving for this show. And straight away already, I know it's just gone off the screen there, ironically enough. That wasn't even planned.
Have we got anyone to?
Cup of
No.
tea, Jodie, is that you? Cup of tea? No one? Andy, Rich, Katie? No, just us. Fine, fine, Ollie. We've got no milk. I know that. Introduces, because that was extremely coincidental, but you can set timers on the time.
Just turn that off with the remote. So yeah, so you can see here we've got a basic kind of clock face,
Yep.
clock interface with the day of the week, and the time of day is in morning, afternoon, evening, and a real clear 24-hour time, and then the date 18th November 2024. So lots of different bits of information.
Yep.
And for different people with maybe different cognitive abilities or impairments, the different parts will be relevant. So for somebody, they may not have the ability to tell the difference between 4:30 p.m. and 5:30 p.m., but to know that it's Monday and it's the evening is good enough.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas other people may not be able to use to identify an analog clock face, so to be able to tell the time in a traditional manner. So to have a digital time is really important, and then they can fall back on the time of day, the evening, morning, and the day of the week. I know quite often dementia is different for everybody, but quite often the day of the week and that time of day thing, starting off with specifically with time, and then time of day is really important thing to keep a track of. And so this clock we developed in partnership with Alzheimer Society, and we had a lot of help from a charity based in Bath called Designability. So we did a lot of work with Dr. Hazel Boyd, who's one of the leading user interface engineers for people living with dementia, and we went through we also had some help from occupational therapists to design 4 different user interfaces for the clock face. So this is the main one. This is kind of where we start with most applicable to most people, and then if I can just scroll through them, pressing the OK button on the remote here. There's also keys on the back. If you lose the remote, you're not stuck without it.
I'm with you.
So this one is, like I said, it's just this basic information that now we're in Monday evening, and it's nice and big and bold, easy to see, and it does what it says on the tin there.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
just so then that will change through the night. Quite often it's the transition between nighttime and daytime that is the main issue. So if, for instance, we have a normal digital clock that says 5:30 and the date, to somebody with cognitive impairment, that might mean 5:30 in the morning or 5:30 in the evening, which are extremely different kind of what you should be doing at that time.
And I guess also with the seasons changing, it's now incredibly dark. It looks like 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
By looking at the window, right? So this will reaffirm where you are in that day.
Yeah, definitely. And just on that, I can't remember my train of thought now on that.
Was I talking about the time of day or the seasons?
The changing of wintertime into summertime and wintertime. This automatically changes the time forward and backwards an hour.
When we lose an hour or we get...
Yeah.
Thank goodness my oven could do with the exact same technology.
Yeah.
Now, when we first came to our attention, this is Shop Clock. Let's not forget, again, you've got a monetary saving there of 20 or 30 pounds off. It then said about a cup of tea.
Yeah.
So what sort of reminders might it give me? And I guess I'm in control of that.
It's got 20 inbuilt reminders.
Okay.
So they'll be similar to what we saw there, mainly around hydration, having a cup of tea, cup of coffee, whatever that is most applicable for that person, a glass of water. We've also got it's time for lunch, various meals, when carers are coming to visit, hairdressers appointments,
Hmm.
and that the built-in reminders, we had advice from OTs on what was going to be most applicable to most people. The memory of the clock can hold 20, but there's also a USB slot where you can create your own reminders. It can be a video or it can be image and audio.
Okay.
And then that you can hold like hundreds on there, depending on the size of the
So if I
files.
always call your daughter at 5 o'clock every Tuesday, that could be a reminder to call
Yeah,
Susan at 5 o'clock on a Tuesday.
yeah,
Now, is it the sort of thing like obviously we don't want to forget to do things, but I guess it gives real control back to you that you are prompted to do things, I guess, independently. So you're not going to forget, like, not only the impact on the hairdresser to forget the hairdressing appointment and money, or you want to get your hair cut after all, but actually just for you to be independent to get up and to go to do that. Does that make sense? I guess that really helps with that.
yeah. I think especially at early stage of dementia, if we use that as an example, although this is applicable for various brain injury, uh, various issues.
Mm.
Um, Autism being another one, that it can be quite upsetting if people are missing their hairdresser's appointment and get a call from a family member or from their hairdresser and say, where were you today? It's not a very nice place to be.
Yeah.
So this kind of just helps with that bit of confidence that they know that they can turn up to whatever is in their schedule.
Well, fingers crossed when we finish this little recording for you as well, the tea will go off again and we can actually have a cup of tea. That'd be nice. If you want to go to that, there's a £30 saving for you right now. This is new, lower prices purely for this partnership between Story and Sons and Shop Unlimited Live. So thank you so much for watching. Not forgetting to order. The details are on the top of the screen as your pricing, etc. You just type in the comments, shop clock, for example. You'll get the saving. We then build a basket for you in your inbox, in your messenger, for example, on Facebook or Instagram. Then you just go into that when you're ready to, and you press checkout cart, and away you go. One more to quickly show you. We've got a lot more to show you about the cat and the hug and the grabber, which is next to me here, which is Shop Radio, which again, a £24 saving. My lunch is in the fridge. Thank you very much over there. I love the styling on the radio. Whether it could be a little bit more modern if you want it to be, but we've just taken the front off here so you can have the old dials.
Yeah.
Very cool. So is it the fact of how easy it is to tune that is the applicable part here, or is it the styling, or?
It's more the main selling point of this radio is more it's the button on the top,
Yeah.
but the fact that you can hide the dials there with the front panel.
So these the knobs and the turners come off, and then you just pop. I won't hit it too often. Then you just take that off and pop there. So that gives it a much more. I won't do it just now. Quite a modern, actually, flash of gold. Like really lovely modern finish, I think.
Yeah, but the main reason for that is so if we think of this was designed by Designability, the charity in Bath who I mentioned just now. A person living with dementia trying to operate a radio, modern radios, and if we think about this radio without the front panel on, there's quite a lot of buttons and knobs to
Yeah.
kind of remember what they do. And if you kind of go to use it, you've forgotten how to really operate it. You can and just want to listen to your favorite radio station that you've listened to for the last however many years. You could end up listening to white noise, and it can be again quite
So
scary.
that's on there. It's one big button on the top which says off and on. And then whether you're listening to the radio, whether it's a football, whether it's any other station, right, your favorite one.
Yeah.
I think it's incredible. I think it looks beautiful. I completely get the functionality against the aesthetic, I guess, of that front panel being on or off. But again, I know it's to do with the design purpose of whether it's someone living with a condition, but it's a beautiful radio.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that could be a Christmas gift for somebody if you wish it to be, whatever you fancy. Again, there's a lot more to talk about. I know there's also a compartment in the back, isn't there, where you can store these bits and bobs that come off at the front.
Yeah, and with the radio and with the reminder clock, if you have somebody in the family or somebody that you know who's living with dementia, it's important that you integrate things like this in their life early, because it might not be a natural thing to press the one button on the top of the radio if you've never seen it before or never done it before. But getting used to it early on means that then as the dementia progresses, it becomes a natural thing to press that one button on top, and it's just a simple thing to kind of to operate.
Is it the sort of thing that I could set a reminder on my clock to push the button on the top of the radio at 9 a.m.?
Yeah.
And that sort of leads you over to here, so it's a bit of joined up thinking.
Yeah.
And again, to remind you to turn it off at night, I guess.
Yeah.
I quite like that bit. Sorry, I have to listen to us talking now even more. But nevertheless, now there is even more products on our website, Shop Unlimited Live, with special pricing. Of course, you can steal the full range if you search for Story and Sons via you guys on their social media as well. It's well worth having a look at what's going on there. I know actually when I was looking at your Facebook, it's not just about these products. You do a lot of things with groups and things going on in your local area as well. So as far as Ollie and Sons go, we're going to put the details back on the screen for Cat because you're asking about Shop Cat. As far as that goes, you're very much into the community of helping the wider groups.
Yeah, we visit several local care homes on a regular basis, and a lot of that is to get feedback. We take products that we might think about either developing or selling in, and we get feedback on the products, and that kind of helps guide where we go with it. We also do a lot with Alzheimer's Society's research centres. Next week, I think we're at the resource centre in Peterborough. We're trialling some new products, and if they get the go ahead, then they'll be available on our store as well. And that is something that that has always been part of our business, and that we'll continue with.
It was really, so if someone, like say, if any of these conditions ring a bell with you in your family members, or maybe you're just starting that journey and you're thinking, well, what's going on around me? I know in our area anyway, you're very active in that. So it's well worth searching for Story and Sons. And you are part of the whole story anyway. You are a story.
Correct.
You are the son, or you're the grandson?
Grandson.
Grandson. So this goes back to, was it, or like sort of product development, or was it homes, or what was the history?
So actually, initially it was the business was products for schools.
Okay.
And we sold clocks to schools, which had to be nice and big and bold and easy to see at a distance, which led to a relationship with RNIB, low vision charity, and we developed products for them, and then that kind of, we found that the talking clocks and watches that we were bringing out for the visual impairment market were then being used by people with memory loss, and it kind of snowballed from there really. And then we got involved with charities and research partners, and and then now we've got a whole suite of products for people living with disabilities.
Makes such a difference. And just sort of circle around, like you've seen everything so far that we've got out here, but there's much more on shopunlimitedlive.com in the range as well, like lamps, sensory items as well. We're coming back to where we started, so you haven't missed out. The details on the screen are for Shop Cat, a new lower price of an extra £10 saving. And this is the sort of thing that maybe you've seen on much bigger shopping sites, etc. I know there's huge want and need, I guess, for a sensory item like the cat. Just reintroduce it, Ollie, for the cat here, because they're beautiful, by the way. Like, it's really tactile anyway. But you were saying, obviously, that there are benefits for whatever conditions you have. But just if you miss pets or you can't look after pets anymore, it's a lovely replacement for that.
Yeah, definitely. You might be able to feel the heartbeat through the back, actually. This one has a heartbeat.
Yeah. Again, it's subtle, much like the hug.
Yeah.
And interesting, we're talking about Katie's nan, Brenda, has one, but she got hers off the back of somebody else in her care home getting theirs. So I guess it's the sort of thing that once you see what somebody else has, and then you experience it, and then you understand, I guess, the appeal and how much it can help you.
Yeah.
It can be like, again, I saw it as like a companion thing, but it's just a bit of very calming, actually.
Yeah, definitely. I think here we go again.
It's time for a cup of coffee, my friends. Kevin, if you could pop the kettle on, that'd be...
Kettle's on.
Kettle's on, thank you so much. We also have the shop clock after all, which isn't just tell you the time and the date and where you are, but also can give you reminders as well. So that's shop clock. If you want to get hold of that, that is you can pause it if you want, Ollie, or not. Keep it going. It's very demanding, and that's what we need sometimes. But nevertheless, that is Shop Clock. This is Shop Cat after all. Now, how do we charge? It's like battery powered. It's like rechargeable, right?
Rechargeable battery, yeah. So it just plugs into the mains like a mobile phone, USB Type-C charger.
And is it the sort of thing that you just leave on, and then once the battery runs out, you charge it again, or would you encourage someone to turn it off in the evening and back on in the morning?
No, I think
Yeah.
it depends on the individual.
Can you hear it purring? I guess that's because I've shown it a bit of
It's
a
because he
tilt.
likes you.
Thank you so much. Finally, someone. I guess because I left it on the table, so it was doing the odd meow here and there, but now I'm giving it attention.
Yeah, so that's why you don't necessarily need to switch it off after every use, because it does eventually it will go to sleep. It will kind of its interactions will get less and less if you don't interact with it, and it
Yeah.
will just go to sleep. But it depends on the use case, because if we think of a care home, for instance, it's probably sat on someone's lap all day being stroked, and then it will need to be charged at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah. But you just plug it into the wall, and that is you. Away you go.
Yeah.
Um, she's called Marmalade. It's a lovely big cat as well. But even just a little, can you see her on her paws? They're like little rubber, like actual
Yeah.
little paws on cats, which is, yeah, little beans. I think they're absolutely divine. This is your Shop Cat after all, worth every single penny. I guess you could, if you're into grooming and you want to brush her, you could be brushing her. You keep up, like that could be
Yeah.
a regular thing that you do as well, right?
Supplied with a brush as well.
There we go. Oh, having a look around. Oh, sorry, I've stopped Marmalade. My mistake. With a brush. There you go, moving around. The tail wags, all sorts. This is Marmalade the Cat Shop Cat, £190, down from 200. Special pricing again, courtesy of Ollie, just for you on Shop Unlimited Live. I'm going to pop Cat down, but again, the details on the top of the screen. We are going to move on to the biggest saving on the show. Big demand as well. Shop Hug. By the way, if you're watching and you've got a question, by all means, you could comment with your questions, and I know you'll be monitoring that. We'll also be monitoring that as well. Whether you're watching through my own old craft page, whether it's Shop Unlimited Live, whether it's through Story and Sons as well. Can we talk Hug, please?
We can.
Because this is an awful lot. And again, much like on the cat, which is still doing her thing, there's a heartbeat in here. That's like a little box, right?
Yeah. So the box is removable, obviously, for washing, and that gives it a heartbeat. You can set 3 different, not volumes, but
Like
intensities.
intensity, yeah.
Yeah. It
Can
can also,
I take the box out? Is that
yeah,
just literally just sip and go?
yeah, and
Okay, I worried for a second loads of stuffing would fall out, but obviously it doesn't. Aha. Oh, can you hear this? No. Very quiet. I hope you can pick that up at home because you can actually sort of feel you can hear it.
yeah, and it can play music as well.
Turn up a little bit more. Oh, like play me a tune.
Yeah, either through Bluetooth, it would just become a Bluetooth speaker, or you can store music directly on it from your laptop.
I love how consistent it is.
Hmm.
I don't know whether like slowing my own heartbeat down a little bit. Like you mentioned a bit words you said earlier, like hello cat, like anxiety or that sort of thing, and just slowing down a little bit with that super regular heartbeats.
A lot of people feel like it's their heartbeat that they're feeling when they give the hug a
Yeah.
hug.
Right, I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. I'm gonna pop it back in. And then that's what I charge. So that gets plugged into the
Yep.
wall and away I go. Right, I'm gonna pop that into there. Zipper up. And there's other bits and bobs, by the way, all sorts. So what else have I get? Obviously, that's my charging wire.
Yeah.
I see. What else am I getting home, Ollie?
You've got a so this is a little bag for the charging cable and the electronics box if you need to put that away while you're washing it.
Put that in there. Thank you very much.
You spoke about your colleague's grandmother, is it Brenda?
Katie's nan, yeah.
Yeah, who has bought the cat because a friend has the cat. So that's why there's a name tag on here. Similar with these in care homes.
Oh, yes. Hug by laugh. And you put your name on there.
So everybody knows which hug's their hug. And then the bag here is obviously for washing. The whole skin can be machine washed.
Amazing. And as you were saying, like especially in homes or whether whatever conditions going on, regular washing of these could be the most important thing for you to knowing that you can, right?
Yeah,
But don't forget to take the battery out. That's kind of the moral of that story,
yeah.
right? When we can't find it later, I've put the charging wire in there. Sort of
So
thing that I will definitely lose and forget. So, can we talk about like what it's made of as well? Because it is just so soft. I know you mentioned there's like little, is it beans
yeah,
or
just weighted. I'm not sure exactly what they are. It's just a weights on
yeah, like little
a.
beans in there. But the rest of him or her and their elongated limbs. Does that sort of wrap around myself?
Yeah, and then so it will actually stay hugging you. Um, if you put the, I know you can't for
I'm
your
going to bring him up.
microphone.
I know I don't want to hit my mic too much, but if it means getting a hug, I don't mind. Weirdly, when I just moved him there, I heard his heartbeat really well. You put it around there. Feels like a little bit like a koala.
Yeah.
You ever held a koala?
No, a lot of people say that it looks like a sloth though.
Yeah, it does look like a sloth. I held a koala once, and they were like, "Make sure you hold its weight, all its weight's in its bum, apparently,
Right.
because then if you don't hold them like underneath, they think they're going to fall, and they climb up if they're going to fall, so they'll climb up
Scratch you.
like yeah, like or like climb up onto your head because it's going up a tree. There you go, some koala knowledge for you there.
Interesting.
Yeah, mildly, but nevertheless, it's just I can't get over, and I think the size of it is a real. You're not going to lose her. It could be a proper little companion with you sat in the chair next to you. It could be sat on the whole time, much like the cat. There's a certain weight to them. They're not heavy by any means or stretch, but there's a presence there, isn't there?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And you mentioned about the washing earlier,
Yeah.
and we're there's some research happening at the moment for different colours of the hug, but we quite often get asked, can it be another colour? Why is it this colour? Because it shows marks
Hmm.
if it gets some food on it or what have you. But the reason for that is so that you can see when it's dirty and then you can wash it. Kind of a contamination.
Yeah. Very sensible. Every element of it, like I guess the weighted beads in the hands or in the feet, or the almost like the flocking on the body, etc. There's thought into every part, right? That's basically what I'm trying
Yeah,
to say, isn't it?
yeah, they did a good job at uh, Hug by Laugh and Cardiff Met University.
Yeah. Beautiful. Again, just to sort of recap as well, all of these products developed with people who have dementia or Alzheimer's, for example, but it could be any disability or no disability at all. It could be something that you'd really benefit from in life.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the sort of idea of it. There's plenty more for us to see right now. We're over halfway through the show. So if you are shopping for Hug, just type in the comments on this Facebook page, or if you're watching on Instagram, just type in shop Hug, two separate words, details on the top of the screen. You will get the special pricing. You'll also get that order P&P of only $3.99. So maybe the cat, maybe the clock, maybe the grabber, which you're going to go to next, or go in the same transaction. It'll still only be $3.99. But you've got to press checkout once you go into your messenger to guarantee you'll get the price that Ollie is giving us very exclusively here on Shop Unlimited Live, and also the stock after all. So that is Shop Hug for you. I don't wish to put her down, but I will. So huggings go on the table there. Now, let's talk grabber if we can. Again, this could be extremely functional around the home or out and about, or actually, I know we'll come back to the start in just a second, but you were saying right at the end there that maybe it's an injury you've got, or you're recovering, and right now you are bedbound, or you've got a bad back at the moment. That could help with that.
Yeah, definitely.
And again, there's various features to. Oh no, we've dropped a cloth, Ollie. I don't know if you saw that. Very subtle element. Are you ready, Rich? A knowing grab. Little bits like that. I mean, I hope it's clean. Might not be. But little things like that, just to like sat down, making life a lot easier. And it's a strong grabber as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. If I can pass this back to you, Ollie, because you were saying it does fold in half as well. I don't want to break anything.
Yeah.
And is this purely for storage wise, or maybe in your
Storage or
suitcase, or
travel, yeah. Whatever's individual use case, but Yeah, mainly handy for travel.
Yep. Could be kept in the car. I'm thinking if you are a crafter, because I know a lot of you are watching, or maybe you've got a hobby and it involves things on lower shelves or picking something up. You mentioned keys is a classic one, but it could be like an earring or something like that. Actually, if I could take it back, Ollie. Now, you may not be able to see this at home, but Rich, I'm going to bring your attention to just down here who's on cameras, and there is a pin on the floor. Now, that pin has been left over from many a craft show here, but you were saying there's a magnet on the end.
Yep.
Bing! Have you heard that? Maybe you've dropped jewelry. It could be something to even like little. Maybe you're making something for a grandson or something, a little Meccano piece. Is there anything metal, right?
Yeah. Anything that's
But yeah, I think keys and jewelry or sewing machine elements, needles, pins, etc. Maybe it's screws or bolts. I think it's such a good idea. Strong grabber as well, and it very easy. Just looking at the handle here, very easy to use. So it's left-handed, right-handed, whatever you need, right?
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Simple as. Most affordable item on the show. Should be £15, £14.99. It's not. If you're watching this right now, if you type in the comments shop grab, details are on the screen for you after all, then you will get this delivered to your door or the address that you give us. Maybe it's a present, maybe it's the sort of thing you're thinking in the build up to Christmas after all, you want to get hold of. That is shop grab, only £10. In the same basket as anything else, away you go, same P&P of only £3.99. The clock next to you, Ollie, again, we're going to change details in there to shop clock. I feel like if you didn't know these products existed, I feel like the shop clock and the shop radio really work hand in hand. They haven't got to after all. But just to reintroduce us to the clock side of things, there's more than meets the eye with the set of information you're getting home.
Yeah. So this is the reminder clock, the Rosebud reminder clock. Rosebud, named after an occupational therapist who helped us develop the reminders, and it's actually her voice that was playing in the reminder,
Okay, yeah,
asking for a cup of tea.
yeah.
And so it's got 4 user interfaces. I've showed you 2 of them already. So we talked about this earlier. It's just a real simple orientation towards the day of the week and the time of the day: morning, afternoon, evening, night time. So just by pressing the OK button on the remote or on the back of the clock, it will cycle through the 4 different user interfaces. Now this one is the picture depicts night and day.
Okay.
So we had to be quite careful not to have too much of a kind of sun in there or something that might make somebody with a cognitive impairment think it's warm outside and not take their coat out. So
Right, that's very considerate. Yeah, I'm with you.
this is designed to be an average day in Britain, and you can just see along the bottom Monday evening, and it's just quite an attractive image to have in the house. And then as that cycles into evening and night, and then nighttime, there'll be a nighttime image on the screen. So if we get to the stage where we're not able to read that writing to see it's Monday evening or Monday night, but we can still make out the difference between a picture of daytime and a picture of nighttime, then sometimes that's kind of the even more simple way of getting that orientation through to people.
Yeah. So that was the third. You say there was 4 in total, though, 4 different
Yeah, so
interfaces.
this is the third one, and then the fourth one is a analog clock and that day and time of day on there as well. So sometimes if somebody's very used to reading a time from an analog clock, they may not be able to decipher exactly what the time is, but they know that tells the time. So it kind of draws their attention over here and kind of gets that familiarity as this is the time, like Monday evening is the time. And
Yeah.
that's
So it's more of a symbol than the actual clock face in your reading. I'm with
yeah.
you.
Although that is actually telling the correct time. So
Yeah, there will. No
yeah.
doubt. But then, so you've got that kind of, which is, like, I guess, information or knowing where you're at. And then that was the very first interface, wasn't it? Which is very, very clear. But then the reminders, we heard it dinging earlier on for have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. What could those reminders be?
So they could be, there's 20 inbuilt reminders. There's, I mean, we've gone there time to feed the cat, to feed the dog. Have a glass of water, medication reminders, a
Medication's
good
a
one.
very good one. Yeah, I'm with you.
You can set whether you want the reminders to repeat once, 3 times, 5 times, or 8 times. The medication one is a really good example of why some people just once is all that they need, because if it's repeating, take your medication, take your time to take your medication, then there's a risk that based on that individual's their particular kind of symptoms of living with dementia, that they could take their medication over and over again.
Right.
So sometimes for some people, once is all that they need. Other people, may need it to repeat 8 times before they actually action the reminder. So there's also the ability to program your own reminders by USB. And that can be image and audio or a video. Sometimes it can just be kind of it doesn't have to be a call to action. It could just be a message from grandchildren that give people that kind of sense of well-being.
Yeah, lovely. Could it be sort of thing like, say, every evening I have a reminder to set my reminders for Tuesday, to set my reminders for Wednesday?
You don't need you can set them to repeat like every day of the week,
Okay.
or once a week, or on a specific date.
I was wondering, like, whether, for example, say, I've I've just had a telephone call and I've just booked, or someone just texted me saying you've got a hair appointment tomorrow at 9. I could then
Mhm.
in the evening, rather than a repeating reminder, a one-off.
Yeah,
Is that still possible?
you can do one-offs. Yeah, if it's your own, if it's an inbuilt, sorry, if it's your own specific reminder, then probably the person who needs this product isn't going to be making their own reminders on a USB.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
that makes sense. But for, like, say, so maybe I come around and visit you,
yeah,
and when I come around, I'm going to remind you of, don't forget, you said you'd visit Richard down the road tomorrow at 3.
yeah,
I could then program that in for you.
exactly.
So
Yeah,
but it's not going to be every single day at 3.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
with
You
you.
can
Okay.
set specific dates into the future. Yeah,
Yeah. Again, extremely, extremely useful for you. It's shop clock with a £30 saving off as well. I love the idea of like a little a message from the grandchildren. That's really lovely, or say a photograph if it is, or even just in its pure estate like you see there. Very, very easy to read. And actually, producer Katie said to me there how the reminder or the alarm isn't a shocking or a uncomfortable, jarring sound.
yeah.
It's an easy, soft reminder.
You might have noticed there was a few tones.
Mm.
That's specifically we've gone for like a low pitch, a medium pitch, a high pitch, because if somebody's also got a hearing impairment, they may not be able to hear low pitch sounds, or they may not be able to hear high pitch sounds. So the idea is that there's something that they should be able to pick up that kind of highlights them towards there's a reminder coming, and then the focus is then on what's the reminder.
So every single element, whether it's visual, audio, etc., is all very, very thought through. That is shop clock after all. And again, the details are on the top of the screen. We're going to move on to the radio because a lot of you are asking about that. But all you do is comment in the comments here on this Facebook page, shop clock, and then that will be popped into your basket by us. And then when you're ready, you press check out. Plenty of time. Maybe you're watching this thinking Christmas, because that's the time when we spend a bit more money on other people, gift giving. Perfect. I think maybe when we come into the radio now, we'll change details to the radio. But we very much started saying, I know it's a very, very timely time to be purchasing for somebody else, as in Christmas, but this is things that people deal with, cope with, manage every single day of their lives. So it hasn't got to be a Christmas thing after all. It could just be now is the time to get to introduce this into our life. And it can. What are the main benefits from all? I know we're going to move on to the radio. Is it a comfort thing? Is it an independence thing? Is it a security thing? What do you think?
With the radio,
With any your whole range, really.
I think it's like I said earlier, it's different for every person.
Yeah.
Quite often, it is reassurance, and it's also support um, for maybe family caregivers. So if an elderly relative is living with you and you have to put the radio for them on every time and then turn it off for them, or sometimes it might get it wrong and there's white noise and it's a bit distressing, then it not only does this help, and we call the family members or people kind of who might be involved that aren't living with dementia, but it affects them. We call them people affected by dementia,
Mm-hmm.
and there's people living with dementia. And something like this radio, for example, it's peace of mind for both people living with dementia who have a sense of independence again, and
It's the news.
and for the people affected by dementia who don't kind of have to deal with that distress situation and have to keep doing things for people. It helps the
Yeah, I didn't even consider that. Like, by the way, this is like a big point that Ollie was saying with the radio is obviously you've got you've got the classic way of tuning them in, but that can be replaced with that phrase, that front, right? So then
yeah.
it's a less complicated, less daunting thing, and it's just a one button on the top to turn it on and off. I hadn't really considered, Ollie. Of course, I'm thinking about the person using these, whether they're living with, but the peace of mind the family members will get with the clock, with the cat, that there's companionship. That's how I'm seeing it, or with the radio and how easy it is to use. That's real peace of mind for those affected by that, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And especially if you don't live nearby, then if you have a elderly relative that doesn't get to interact with people often, they can't have their own cat, then and you have given them this gift of a kind of a robotic cat that gives them that
Yeah.
companionship,
We'll change the details. We'll pop cat on the screen for you because it's exactly what we're talking about there.
and that's peace of mind for you knowing that they're going to have something to stroke that reacts to their
Well, yeah, I would. I now like a big worry of, I guess, having maybe I'm wrong because I've had relatives living in care homes before. Is a certain I know lots of activities go on, lots of support is given, but there are elements of loneliness I'd maybe worry that they're going to start feeling. So even giving them the hug or photographs coming up on the clock or the cat like we're talking about right now, what a gift that is to give to someone for companionship, for something to actually occupy your mind to think about rather than. And you were saying there's a real, particularly with the hug maybe, but I know the cat's on the screen for you, to encourage someone to join in activities you were saying or to be more social,
yeah.
which has got to be a benefit in the long run.
Yeah, like I'm sure with the your colleague's Nan Brenda,
Brenda?
I'm sure that with multiple people in that home having this cat, they're going to talk about them. They're going to bring them out, and
Yeah.
it's going to be a interaction piece, isn't it?
She just said they do in my ear. They compare cats. Compare. Normally it's meerkats, but it's just cats, right, Katie? Just cats. Yeah, exactly. It's like introduced like Katie's nan has this cat. Another lady in the same home has this cat, and more on and so on. And I guess then other family members will then see the benefit and see the interaction and the conversation starter, and away you go. Again, you could order this cat right now before Christmas if that's the thought you've got. I think just in general, though, getting them in your home, whichever the grabber, the hug, etc., £190. We are going to come back to the radio because I know you're interested there. But shop cat. That's all you need to do. 2 words: shop and cat, and then we will build your basket for you in your DMs, in your messenger as well, saying that you've ordered the Marmalade the cat. Do you wish to proceed? You press yes to check out the cart. You can then divide the cost interest free if you want to. Completely up to you. You haven't got to wait for that final payment to be taken out in the last month as well. ASAP, it's all delivered to you straight away. That is Shop Cat. Let's go back to the radio then, because you're then with the radio. Again, that could be a company thing, right? Or actually, like not being overpowered or overwhelmed on how to use it with that the radio face on there. And then, is it the one button on the top you were saying?
Yeah.
I'll turn that on. Why not? Maybe the news is finished. Might have done. Might be back into a song on Classic FM. Who knows? And your favourite radio station, whatever you want to listen to.
Yeah. And at the volume that is kind of appropriate as well, because sometimes that can be an issue.
Or you might be able to hear it, you might not be, because I know our mics filter noise sometimes, but it's very crystal clear. And then, so what's the advantage of having just one button on the top?
It's just that so somebody with a cognitive impairment isn't getting overwhelmed by having loads of different dials and knobs and the ability to accidentally get to the wrong channel and or set the volume wrong, and just not be able to operate the way they want the radio to operate, which can be quite distressing. So it just gives everything's preset is one thing to remember. It's just on and off on the top.
Away you go. And that's like the cover on the front, these big knobs do pull off, and you pop them in the back there, and then that is the cover. And also, I like how it says like quite clearly radio, so
Yeah.
you know exactly what that bit of tech does for you. That's on there too. That is shop radio. That's all. You don't need an item number or anything like that at all. You don't have to leave the Facebook page. You haven't got to go onto our website if you don't want to. I mean, you can. It's all right. Shop radio. Get hold of yours. I'm going to go back to Hug now. Just glancing at the clock, they've got less than 10 minutes on the show. By all means, you can check out after the hour, but I appreciate you won't be introduced to the different codes that way. After the hour, if you want to go on shopunlimitedlive.com, you can see the full range from Oli and Story and Sons there. There's much more sensory items, lamps and things I've seen there as well. The cat's starting to wag its tail. So you can see them all on shopunlimitedlive.com. Now, Hug was like, feels like a real revelation, if you like, for the appeal here. So I understand that the cat side of things, maybe you're a cat lover, but if you're not a cat lover or that's not your bag, this certainly could be.
Yeah, no, it's a different experience to the cat
Yeah.
as well. It's a much more kind of softer, quieter, um, and then when that heartbeat kicks in, just that kind of reassuring and calmness that's passed on.
It's worth saying there is a battery in there that does produce a heartbeat, so what's the benefit of that? What I can say is similar to the cat. What's the benefit of a heartbeat?
I think it just creates that sense of connection. So a lot of the time, so if we think about the use case of somebody with later stage dementia that's living in a care home, for instance, or living at home and being cared for by family members, then it it just gives them that sense of connection with another being, that heartbeat on them. Then the weighted arms and legs as a kind of comfort blanket and another point of connection, and it just
They're like bean bags, aren't they?
yeah.
That's the thing. I couldn't remember the word bean bag. That's what they're like. The feet. You can sort of hear them how they weight down. So that just sort of like helps it grip around you.
Yeah,
Is it the sort of thing that people would hug to sleep in their bed or on their chairs or whilst watching telly or listening to the radio or carry around?
yeah, either or any use case that's applicable to that individual. I know these have been used with children who struggles to sleeping or kind of teenagers who don't sleep, just to kind of dull out the noise of what's going on around and just kind of zone in on that heartbeat.
It's the softest thing. I know, Kat. We'll come back to you, I promise. It's the softest fabric, so it is weighted, as you can spy there on as it wraps around you, if you like. But you did mention also, obviously, unzip it, take the battery out. You can wash these.
Yes.
Can you
Yeah.
wash the cats as well?
Cats are not washable,
We don't wash
unfortunately.
cats. Just checking. In real life as well, don't wash cats. We've all fallen foul of that at some point. Okay, but this guy, we can wash him.
Yeah.
And we get also like the wash bag as well. So obviously, what do we take the battery out?
Yeah, take the little electronics box out. Take the cushion out of the middle as well.
Yep.
And then the
Back in there.
rest of it just folds up into that wash bag in the wash.
And you get the wash bag as well. Away you go. Yeah, I think for like skin contact or something like that, or just to have a bit of, as I was talking about before, I've experienced the benefits of a weighted blanket before. It's just sort of very settling and grounding, if that's the right words. And I feel very similar with this.
Yeah.
And it can be the most personal thing to you or somebody else as well. And you can name them whatever you want to name them. I know you get like you can put your own name on the bag as well of accessories, but you can name your hug if you wish. The biggest saving on the show, down from £150. So congratulations by checking out your baskets already. It's a different way to shop, but the easiest possible way to shop. With the details on the top of the screen there. Shop hug. You comment that, and this will be created a basket with this item already in this. You don't need an item number or anything like that at all. Very self-explanatory. Shop hug. If after the show you're thinking, what was the item number, or what was the code for the cat or the grabber or the clock? Of course, you can then go onto our website, shopunlimitedlive.com, and you can see Ollie's full range there, so even more than we've seen on this pure introductory show for you. But that is Shop Hug. Where are we going next, Katie? Sorry? Clock. Okay, we are running out of time. We've only got 4.5 minutes left, actually. Ollie, back to your clock there, which a lot of these are like security elements or tactile things. But again, for functionality and just organizing your life,
Yeah,
how
and
useful.
well, the main time orientation is a real big thing with people living with dementia or cognitive impairment,
Mhm.
and then if you lose time orientation, organizing life becomes impossible. So it's just really kind of giving that little bit of orientation, whether it's just that it's nighttime or daytime, or whether we're going into specifics like what we've got here, the exact time, the date, the time of day, and the day of the week, and then the reminders kicking in for when it's time to have your lunch, hairdressers appointments, carers visits, feeding cats and dogs. But again, they can be as used as much or as little as is
Mhm.
appropriate to that person. So some people they might just need the medication reminder, and they might need that to repeat once, 3 times, 5 times, or 8 times, and that can be set on the clock. It updates automatically for daylight saving. Um,
Can
for
I know we've got like 30 seconds left on this item, for example. How you like what the other screens look like with the other
Yeah, we've got
interfaces?
4 user interfaces. We've got this one, just a real basic now. It's Monday evening, and that will change to nighttime, morning, going into Tuesday morning. Um, and then we've got this one, which is a picture. It shows a picture of daytime or moves into a picture of nighttime. You've got the words Monday evening there as well, so that if somebody can use the word, make out the words and use them for orientation, then they're there. But if they just need a picture of daytime or a picture of nighttime, then that's what this screen's for.
Hmm.
And then we've got the traditional analog clock with that just orientation of time of day at the bottom as well.
The reminders, maybe watch the show back. Of course, you can do because it's very funny how it just very gently chimes in with ours was a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. You were saying about medication or going to appointments, or it could be a photograph, or it could be a video message. A huge array that you can program, or there's pre-programmed bits as well. But I think the independence, in my take on this item, is what not only helping orientate yourself through the day, but to not forget things, or not to like, dare I say that, the embarrassment of missing an appointment or
Hmm.
forgetting to take something else. I think that's a huge thing for a bit of self-esteem or confidence, maybe is the right word I'm thinking of.
Yeah, definitely.
Shop clock. That's to get hold of that if you wish to. Maybe it's perfect for you, your other half, a family member, maybe somebody else affected by. Absolutely, whoever will benefit from these is exactly why they've been developed. We've got 2 minutes left. Don't forget they're not until you press checkout into that basket that we've built for you, whichever product you're after in your messenger. We're going to go back to, is it radio, Katie? Oh, the cat. Thank you very much. 'Cause I'd rather go the cat. We started on the cat. We're going to finish on the cat as well. You haven't been able to see this, but just the cat's tail has just been wagging away off the edge of this table here throughout. There you go. It's just like like a cat or a dog has a dream. It feels like it just moves around, does its own little bit, which is very very clever. And this is the point. Like even the head's moving now. You can stroke them, and they sort of almost. The more attention I pay, the more it gives back. But then when you leave, it just slowly settles itself down again.
Yeah, yeah, and that's going to kind of save your battery over time.
Mm.
Um, but more like yeah, exact. The more you interact with it, the more it'll interact with you, and that's the key with this. It's that interaction that kind of is important to people that you get from a real cat or a dog.
You're not popping AA batteries in here after all. It charges in at the plug socket, so you get a wire and things to plug it in. One of the first things you said was, "You haven't got to remember to feed. You're not setting timers to feed this one, or
Hmm.
to water it, etc., or change any litter trays. Purely, maybe you can't look after a cat anymore. Or you've always wanted to, but it's not suitable for you right now. This is hugely popular, not just in this country. I imagine this is hugely popular globally.
Yeah,
So thank you so much for giving us a special price. Yeah, you're welcome. On the cat. If you want to get hold of yours, it's Shop Cat. Ollie, we are out of time. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
I've no doubt you'll be coming back, hopefully, fingers crossed, if you can find your way back here, absolutely. And there's lots more as well. But if people want to learn more about what you do, what Story and Sons do, what Facebook page should we go to? What do we Google?
You can go to storyandsons.com, and on there you'll be led to our social medias. Search Story and Sons and you'll find us.
Away you go, you'll find you. Oli, thank you so much. I love that you've brought these products to us as well. I love that you're giving special pricing as well. So thank you ever so much for that. All in time for Christmas, right? Not forgetting to comment with your keywords. If you're just tuning in right at the last minute, of course, you can rewind this and watch it again and see everything going on there. But the whole range from Story and Sons is on our website, shopunlimitedlive.com. And if you have commented, now go into your DMs, now go into your messenger, where there's a little button that says check out your cart, check out your basket, so you can get hold of yours whilst we've got the stock after all. You can absolutely